polls, how many of you regularly watch The Biggest Loser? Just two? How many of you have ever seen it?
In the new year, loser is here. Tuesdays you'll see on NBC.
Bring it.
Don't grab a snack, no time to slack. Look, Butter's back, they're gonna crack.
You're fake puking. Get over here.
Scary, 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 scary doll pets.
Get those bees up!
Very, 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 very much sweat.
He is an evil man.
There's no excuse for your caboose. Try not to frown, Santa's going down.
How you feeling, Santa? Because you look like you got run over by a reindeer.
Loser is here in the new year.
So there's no excuse for your caboose, and hopefully you learned what you heard in that song. And so our presentation is on the effects of reality weight loss television on motivation, exercise, and weight loss.
Alright, so as you all know, that weight loss reality TV shows are everywhere, and as you can see from the clip, the people on the shows aren't really portrayed in the most positive light. There's a couple other problems that result from these TV shows, one being the methods they use for weight loss. They're obviously not sustainable, as we can see from this picture of Kathy. The show hypes up losing the most weight in the quickest amount of time. So it presents the idea of a quick fix as a solution to obesity instead of making healthy lifestyle choices as a way to lose weight. The emphasis on losing weight quickly as a value system is also really harmful. The contestants work out for as much as 6 hours per day, if not more, and the combination of caloric limitation and intense exercise would not be possible or healthy long term, as is shown by a study where they looked at the diet versus exercise on The Biggest Loser, and the information comes from so we're looking at the show versus a model of metabolism. And so the diets on the show, they work while they're on the show, but once they get off, they're not a good strategy for long-term weight loss, and especially not for maintaining the weight loss. And a lot of the contestants, well, if you're a fan of the show and you follow what happens after they leave, a lot of them regain the weight because it's not possible to do what they do on the show for the rest of your life. The show also does not present a balanced presentation of what individuals can do on a day-to-day basis to help them with their health and well-being. So clearly the idea, even though he looks great after, I guess, clearly the idea of the show is to cause you to lose weight, but we know this is the way they do it is not healthy. And so then what happens when the viewers watch these shows and internalize these concepts of health? So the viewers, when they watch the shows, based on another different study that was focused on undergraduates who were fans of the show, it concluded that the depiction of the exercise as hard work can cause the viewers to negatively view exercise. And some of the ideas that came out of the study actually were that the viewers who watch the show decide they're happy that they're not overweight, so they don't have to exercise that hard. And exercise is something that you do after you become obese, but working really hard to exercise doesn't make sense if you're not obese and isn't necessary if you're not obese. And a person, the viewer, evaluates whether or not they need to exercise based on how they compare to the participants on the show instead of how healthy they actually are. And so instead of looking at diet and lifestyle choices, it's really focusing on the phenotype and how you look and the cultural ideas that we've talked about in class about how thin means healthy and a larger weight size means unhealthy. And as you can see from the pictures, I mean, they are working really hard. They look like they're all in pain, and so like people watch the shows and they see that and they think exercise has to be what they're doing on the show. So then that also goes back to how viewers think about themselves. So there are some other effects of weight loss reality TV shows, and a semi-positive effect is that a viewer, after they watch the show, is more motivated to work out than they were before they watched the show. However, this comes with a couple of caveats, and I'll just read you this quote. Weight loss-oriented reality TV sends the message that only individuals who employ 2 trainers and a nutritionist and are capable of exercising at the gym 8 hours a day can become healthy and reach their healthy weight goals. So it's the participants, while they did feel more motivated to exercise, they are also getting this idea that exercise is something really complicated and unattainable if you don't have money, if you don't have time, if you don't have access to personal trainers and fitness centers. And so they are becoming more motivated, but they're thinking about exercise in the wrong way. They're doing it because it's coming from a fear of looking like the contestants as opposed to a need to be healthier and a need to live a better lifestyle.
And so I want to pose a question to y'all. So I want to challenge you to think about the roles you see obese individuals playing in television. Do they have lead roles? Are they overall happy and are portrayed in positive interactions? Are they usually the people cracking the jokes, or are they involved in romantic interactions? And I know we've all had experiences where we've seen obese individuals portrayed in television, so you can kind of reflect on your own. We're going to obviously focus on The Biggest Loser. And just to get a baseline or vocabulary for what I'm about to talk about, I'm going to discuss anti-fat attitudes and weight bias. And so anti-fat attitudes are reinforced through children's television shows, movies, books, adult and adolescent targeted television, weight loss programming, news coverage, websites. They're basically everywhere, and it's inescapable. And anti-fat attitudes emphasize negative characteristics such as the flaws of personal effort, lack of motivation, competence of obese individuals, their morality and attractiveness. And I know we've also discussed how anti-fat attitudes are pretty similar to racism. However, through a study that I was reading, it showed that obese individuals hold these attitudes against other obese individuals as well, at the same rate that normal individuals do, so it's not completely similar to racism. And The Biggest Loser has about 11 million viewers, so if 11 million viewers are viewing this television show and taking away these perceptions, it does have a negative effect on the way we view obese individuals, our weight bias, and fat shaming. So the study that I looked at was featured in the obesity journal, and it was a study at Midwestern University, which 64 adults participated in who were about 20 years old. 66% of them were female and 69.5% of them were white. The control group watched the major reality television show, and a test group watched about 40 minutes of The Biggest Loser.
We have a 30-second sprint. 6.5, Joelle, yes? One more time.
Believe in yourself.
That's right.
Trust the process.
Change forever.
Amen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That's it. Good. Everybody looks good. Do not be sloppy. Finish this strong, Joelle. No, Joelle, don't do it. Don't do it. Dig, Joelle, dig. 10. Joelle. 4, 3, 2, 1. What the Joelle? Every single time at 20 seconds. Every time. What is it? What is it? Tell me what it is.
So you can obviously see something like this happens every single episode, not to this extent, but I thought this was pretty dramatic and you get the point. But she ends up saying that you cannot compare me to all these other individuals, and that she's an individual trying to work towards her own goals. And so you can just imagine if you're taking part in this study and you happen to see this clip or a clip similar to it, what kind of influence it would have over you. So just so you know, The Biggest Loser is most popularly viewed between individuals who are 18 to 49, and the biggest question is whether it promotes healthy living or it promotes fat shaming and fat fear. And a lot of this show promotes individual responsibility as opposed to what we've been learning over the past 13 weeks, such as the role that genetic and environmental factors play into our weight. And so the goal of this study was to examine was to watch the effects of the dislike of obese individuals, how that changed after watching the show, the attitudes of controllability, whether your weight was in your own hands or not, the stereotypes of obese individuals, and implicit weight bias. And this also examined how our own weight influenced how we view the show. And the people who participated in this study were mostly around a BMI of 25.8. So after viewing the show, people who had a lower initial perception of your weight is in your own control had a very high perception afterwards, so that they felt these obese individuals were responsible for their weight. And the people who, there was a significant dislike increase, so after watching this show, more people had a greater dislike of obese individuals, and people with lower BMIs had a higher post-dislike score. And it's consistent with the theories of most researchers that the show actually exacerbates negative attitudes and anti-fat ideas. And what's interesting is that seeing the effects of people being successful on this show actually fueled more negative ideas. And this is a similar model, we don't have to go into depth, but it's pretty much the same cycle no matter what type of group you focus on. And lastly, here's some after pictures. And so our concluding thoughts are that this show frames obesity as a matter of personal responsibility and behavioral solutions, ignoring societal or environmental contributors.
Gimmicks might be entertaining, but in the long run, they don't work.
And in order to combat this problem, we're going to need, like everyone I'm sure has come out of this class with, we need government and community interventions that listen to the needs of obese individuals, put tailored interventions into place, and offer a sustainable and accessible and affordable plan to combat obesity. And one last thing is that Gina Yu, who's at UMSL, is actually doing a lot of research on the Biggest Loser, which I didn't know. There's a lot of research, particularly on this show. So she's right down the street.